Hello everybody, I'm here again today with another deck. Today going to be looking at Unseen Elder, or as I like to call him, the Invisible Old Man. Okay, now that I got that terrible joke out the way, we can jump into what this deck is trying to do, what the idea was, how strong it might be, all that different stuff. So, Elder, of course, is the Deathwish leader. You're going to be playing a lot of Deathwish cards with him. We are doing that. The Bronze Court is pretty much Deathwish units and some other synergies with things like Cyclops to destroy your own units, Griffins to do the same, Thoglet, Arcspore, Harpy, Egg, Rotfiend, all good Deathwish units that get value from proccing their Deathwish effect, destroying them, whatever. We also have one Necker there. I think this can be quite cheeky if you play him in certain matchups, maybe against monsters, for example, or other decks that don't have too much, one point to removal, then this can be really, really a valuable card. Otherwise, you can just mulligan it away and not play it and not lose out too much. So one Necker there just for a bit of thrive value in certain matchups. What else? Well, we've got some thinning in the Witchers, we've got the classic Unicorn Chironex, and then the rest of the cards are a little bit interesting. Not so much the Werecat and the Crones, to be honest. They're in a lot of Deathwish decks. Just really good value, Deathwish synergy, and yeah, pure points, I guess, with the Crones, along with the consume effect, which helps for your Deathwish guys. But we are running Ozrael in this list, and Goliath to kind of synergize with that. The reasoning for this is Ozrael kind of shuts down other monster decks, like the big woodland and whatnot. If you're able to just eat their big guy, you're effectively getting a free large value Ozrael. The Goliath will help to get him some pretty damn strong value in other matchups where maybe, you don't have a big unit to eat from the opponent's graveyard. And there's also Griffins in this deck, even to a lesser degree Cyclops, which all are enabling Ozrael. And honestly, even you might be able to run ghouls in this, or one ghoul. I don't think it's a good idea, it's probably a bit risky, but the idea here is just, good. Ozrael actually ends up being good value, even when you're not playing too many big units. Just because of Griffins and Goliath enabling it, and the opponent's graveyard enabling it. So that's pretty neat inclusion, I think. And Goliath, of course, 10 for 10. Just a pretty damn solid card. Provides a lot of tempo. You obviously don't want to proc his Deathwish effect because that will help the opponent out. But I think it's a pretty nice fit in this deck, actually. Typically, the problem with Deathwish is it doesn't really have too much big finisher value. So if we can help that out a little bit with the Ozrael and whatnot, then that's cool. We also do have Maruna, which is, in my opinion, one of the better gold Deathwish cards. If you're able to proc her effect twice, she is worth a heck of a lot of points. If you proc her once, seizing a 3-point unit, that's 10 points immediately, maybe more if you take an engine or whatever. And if you're able to steal more than that, well, she's really, really good at that point. So a little bit riskier than some of the others, I guess, but higher payoff as well. I think this deck will be quite okay. To be honest, other monster decks are going to be better than Elder. You're just not able to get the same finisher power as Woodland, for example. Or even Eridan, to be honest. I don't know how many people are playing Eridan at the moment, but I don't even think Elder can be better than Eridan, to be quite honest. But I think this deck is a good attempt at that, and it can probably tussle, with a lot of other decks in the meta at the moment. I don't think it'll get completely walked over at all. Using Elder every round is going to give you a large amount of bleeding power, along with the big unit potentially with Goliath and all this nice Deathwish synergy. Either way, it should be a pretty interesting deck. Haven't really played something like this, haven't really experimented with Elder too much, and I wanted to, of course, do that today. So let's jump into a game or two now, guys. Okay, looks like we're up against Crack. Gonna be a long round focus deck, of course, with that leader, so we're gonna need to make sure we bleed him if we can. We do have red coin, which will hopefully help us push round one a bit. Maybe not. Maybe we'll have the opposite effect, but okay, Witcher can be mulliganed here, of course. And looking at the rest of the cards, what do we even want to get rid of? Got some really nice synergy going on in this hand. Could probably keep this. We could even get rid of an Arcspore, I guess. But I think this is fine. Let's hold on to it. Oh, I'm getting Discord messages, wow. Okie dokie. So, let's see what we can do.
Sure.
Definitely want to be using Elder this round, of course. That's just how it goes with Deathwish. Interestingly, we could play Maruna. We could play Maruna just to get the value on her. She will be a 10-point play, which is not small at all. Alternatively, we save her for later. I don't mind playing her here, to be quite honest, guys. I don't mind playing her. I think it's probably good. Just because we know we're going to be able to proc her effect again, right? If we want to with Griffin this time. And it's also a unit he doesn't want to remove because it's going to proc the Deathwish effect. And I'm not sure there'll be 3s later on in the game to steal, so I'm pretty okay just going with a big tempo play from the get-go here, I think. Interesting that he damaged it. That's giving us more value on Griffin, right? But I think we can go with the Arc Spawn now, just to, of course, get the Thrive going. Oh man, I'm getting more Discord messages. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. Alright. Morkvar coming down, that is a lot of tempo. I think we can probably go with Werecat now, because it will be a Thrive unit as well. Gets a fair amount of points from the get-go and also procs the Arc Spore there. After that we can maybe go Witchers, maybe Griffin, we'll see. Probably Witchers will be good. We can hold on to Egg, Rotfiend for later if we want. Ooh, and that's so nice, actually, that we are getting some extra value on these cards. I mean, to be fair, Arc Spore would probably have been removed anyway, but whatever. Witcher time, I think. Keep the Thrive going. And then we can, of course, play a 4 strength unit. Okay, well that gets removed anyway. I mean, we're keeping up in points quite effectively here, despite a lot of our stuff getting dealt with. So that's pretty good news. So I guess if we destroy Maruna, it might take a 1 strength unit. It's kind of random as to what happens. Oh my god, how do I mute Discord? I don't even know how to do that. I'm gonna close it, see if that works. We could probably go with a Griffin here, I guess. Could also just develop the Egg, I don't mind it. And get a little bit more value from the Griffin, you know, on the subsequent play. Tricky, I don't know. We could just go for the risk, but I think probably the Egg is fine. Most likely if he wants to play like a Wild Boar this turn anyway, then this will die, so I don't think it's too bad. And that's just going to be the pass, okay. So I think we do actually take it with the Crone, the Wispess, because this will basically buff up our other cards in deck, give us more value later on, right? We can save the Griffin for a bit of Deathwish synergy later. Yes, Osrel will be weaker, which does mean we're going to have to bleed him, but I think we're bleeding him in pretty much every case anyway, and this will effectively be a nice carryover play. Not too bad. Oh, that's really nice draws, I think. To be honest with you guys, the Griffin plus the Foglet is just so nutty strong. We can probably keep this hand, or mulligan Cyclops, or mulligan Rotfiend even. I'm going to take the mulligans and see what we can get here. And I think I will mulligan Rotfiend as well. We don't want too many of these, you know what I'm saying, guys, these Deathwish plays, but we do want some, right? Because, okay. It might get a bit scary. Marauder's going to come down and kill this, but I think we have to play this round and try to bleed the crack, otherwise round 3 is going to be really painful. So okay, we'll fall behind here, but that's not a problem. We're going to have then Arc Spore to kill this, and then we can proc the Deathwish of Rotfiend and eat it, and proc it again. And then we can even play Unicorn Kyranex if we have to. But that should shorten the round enough that we're not too scared of Wild Boar, or anything else. Alright. So yeah, I think Rotfiend here makes sense. We'll just take the value on it while we can. We don't even need to play a Griffin here if we don't want to, but I think we will most of the time, depending on what the opponent plays. Just makes sense to get a bit more Thrive value, and of course, proc that Deathwish with the card we have there, bit of synergy. Although if Skirmisher comes down here, it becomes a bit more risky to do that. Honestly, maybe taking a pass is good here, but I think I want to play the Griffin. It will make our Osrel a lot better, so let's do that. Ah, unfortunately we hit the wrong one. It's still not a bad play, right? 6 points or whatever, but plus the Thrive. But, you know, it could have been better if it hit the 4, of course. As long as we have Unicorn Kyranex, card advantage, and potentially some good stuff like that, we should be okay. But I think here we need to keep pushing, because he just overcame us with that. Unicorn does get us another Thrive effect, which is good. We're managing to keep up in points, potentially not. Geralt is definitely going to be pretty powerful. Okay, now I think we probably are fine to play Osra. Going to be proccing the Thrive again. Now hopefully he will not be able to overcome in this play. He needs 7 points or whatever. But he is, okay, fair enough. So he might be a whole card down here, but I'm going to keep playing because at this point there's no reason not to, right? Potentially his hand is like spears or something and he can't overcome. Unlikely, but possible. We'll see what happens. Our top decks might not even be bad. The thing is, Elder is going to give us a lot of reach where we might, you know, not normally have reach. And there we go, Lippy. So he actually can't overcome us, it looks like. Yep. There we go, we just win the game, guys. And I mean, I don't know what that deck was, I don't know what Lippy was doing, but it seemed like pushing and bleeding and even going for the 2-0 unexpectedly was a good idea there. So, looks like we have some amount of power, although, of course, that cracked deck had a couple of blanks in hand at the end there. Let's jump into another game and see if it works out as well. Alright, next opponent is going to be Mr. Jan Calvit. And blue coin. Blue coin for a change. Okay, so mulligan those witches I think is the pretty straightforward go-to. We've got a fair amount of Deathwish stuff going on here. I don't mind keeping the eggs. They're always not too shabby to play. Yeah, I think we can probably keep this hand if we want, although I'm not too sad about mulliganing either a Rotfiend, or maybe just an egg actually. In reality, we'll probably want Rotfiend to maybe, you know, remove an engine or something. Nilfgaard has quite a lot of them. Oh, bless me. Sorry, guys. So we'll start with egg here. Maybe we should be playing on the front row, to be honest, because Cyclops can then throw it more effectively than he can if it's on back row. That's probably a mistake, but whatever. Remember to do that for next time. Gonna get locked anyway, okay. Not too big of an issue. I think we can go with the classic sort of Maruna start, unless we want this for later, which I don't think I really care. I'm just kind of happy to take the Elder value on this Cavalry boy. And then, of course, on future units as well, maybe. He might just remove it now, which would be kind of a shame, but not the end of the world. And we'll see where to go from there. Calvit could be quite a lot of things. Who even knows what version he's running? I don't even know what versions are a thing at the moment. It's definitely not the most popular leader for Nilfgaard, but could be trying the no thinning version that I put out, but I don't think that's too likely. Who knows? It's possible. It is possible. So if we can, we want to get the Golly out, the Witches out this round to do some thinning and graveyard setup and whatnot. But this presents a pretty nice Cyclops, so I think we just take it. And hopefully steal a Roach. Yeah, really nice. That'll mean he can't Assire later for the value on that, so that's really cool. If he is running Assire, that is. We could probably play Rotfiend here. I mean, if we're winning this round just based on Deathwish value, then I'm kind of happy with that. Alternatively, Werecat is also fine, I think. Get some nice value from that. We can also play Tactical Advantage and potentially start threatening a pass if he doesn't, you know, play enough points here. So I think next we're going to play our Witches because it procs the Werecat, it's a large play, and then we can choose whether we pass or not based on whether we think he can get enough points in one card. And it's going to be difficult, but we can kind of work out what he might have. Then he'll be able to get him ahead. Probably the max he'll have realistically is like 12 points from a Unicorn or Carinax, I think. So if he falls behind by a significant amount, then we just take a pass. If not, we can continue playing. Of course, with Elder, you always want to win round 1 if you can, because that just allows you to bleed round 2 and get value from his ability. Otherwise, he's a pretty terrible leader if you can't use him, you know, for good value in round 2. If you're only using him in 2 rounds, he's not as good as one of these finisher leaders like Calvit. Whoa, gonna be a Tibor. He will actually pull out Ozra, which is unfortunate for us. Definitely quite unfortunate. And I guess that means we'll keep playing in this round. We can go with a Rotfiend now, probably. Because it will proc our Werecat, allow us to play Cyclops after, or Crone. And I think we'll be able to win this round, it's just a matter of how many of our good cards will be wasted. That is a real shame, because Ozrael onto Tibor later in the game would have been so devastating. So another good target for him, of course. Regis is going to come down and provide some pretty juicy points, fair play. I think we actually go with Weavas here. It's a bit weird, but I'll explain why in a second. Because we want to... I mean, actually, this is dumb. I should have put Rotfiend on the front. The mistakes. Yeah, that's actually really annoying, because I was going to try to kill the Sergeant with Cyclops, but I just realised this is on back row, so can't really do much with that. That's unfortunate. And now keeping Goliath is viable because we don't have the Ozrael anyway, so playing it this round isn't as good as it otherwise would have been. We'll see, hopefully he's running out of points at this point. Whoa, gonna play the Calvi, that's quite a commitment. And it's only gonna pull out Albrecht, alright. Not sure why you'd go for that, to be honest, but maybe he'll try to win on even now and then push us out. It's possible. It's just going to be a slave driver, which isn't too powerful. Now, honestly, I think we can just keep up pretty easily with Cyclops here. To Regis. Actually, I should have hit Tibor, but maybe not because of Peter being a card, so yeah, I think that's fine. We got the value. Now, if his hand... I mean, I'm not sure why you go for the Calvi there. It's a bit of a weird one. I would expect his last cards to not be too powerful, and therefore he won't want to play them here because he won't overcome us. Or maybe they are really good cards and he wants to keep them for later, but that was definitely strange. The fact that Calvi is gone now is really, really good news. Tibor as well is quite a powerful finisher. It's just going to allow us to push very effectively in this round or the next. Now, Brues is pretty good, although here... doesn't really provide too much. I really want to find a Deathwish card. So I think I'll mulligan the Necker here. Rotfiend is a Deathwish card, so that works. And I think we can start with Goliath. We'll go Goliath and then probably Rotfiend, Elder it, and then maybe a Griffin after that as well. To just get the value on that stuff. Most likely Brues won't be that good because we're running out of Deathwish units at this point. So Avalak is going to come down. That's pretty wacky. I think we'll go with our Rotfiend. This can immunize something, but I'm not really scared of stuff getting immunized in round 2. If he plays his sort of win con cards, like Stefan or whatever, then sure, I'll be happy with that. We can also maybe just snipe with a Rotfiend if it's a 4-point engine that he's immunizing. And it actually is, wow. So the Griffin could snipe this, if we're fortunate. I think we're always going to play Griffin here. I mean, the chance to just completely blow him out and win the game, I think if Cahir gets hit, is definitely worth taking. And there it is, I mean, really, I don't think he can ever hope to get the points now. And even if he can, our finisher is going to be better than his, most likely. So I think we'll just remove that one. We get a few extra points in this round by removing it, so chance that we're able to 2-0 him increases a lot. Alright, Isabella of Hague. I think we'll pass now. Most likely we won't be able to actually win this round. Even if we play the Bruas. Because he always gets an extra card effectively over us, because we won't be able to play the one that we draw from Isabel. So by passing here, we're just going to force him into an awkward spot where he is going to go down in cards no matter what, basically. And of course we're going to have Elder still available. What did he take? I think he took... what did he actually take? Oh god, I'm so bad at working out what they took. Oh well, I'm sure it will become apparent in a minute. Or maybe it won't. Who knows. We got a lock though, which obviously... Oh, he took an Arksman. Of course. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get the points here, to be quite honest. Yeah, no, not possible. So I mean, two 2-0s in a row might be a testament to more how weak our opponent's decks were, but I can't say this deck doesn't have potential. Maybe quite a strong bleeding deck with Elder, able to get a lot of value in round 2 that other decks can't quite get. And of course, in round 1 and 3 as well. But yeah, that was pretty fun. I think Elder's quite cool. Feel free to give the deck a try if you want. It was not a bad Deathwish version, I think. And yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.